What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and can I tell you something? It took me a minute to do this review on Real Housewives of New Jersey. I ain't gonna lie, because Teresa made me want to jump through the screen and snatch her edges off. She gets on my nerves. So I'm telling you right now, if you are a Teresa fan, you might not want to watch this video. This ain't gonna be for you because I'm about to get in sis ass. All right, let's get into it, shall we? All right, y'all. So the reunion starts out with Andy doing his, normal thing of going and saying hello to the ladies and whatnot, doing all of his, welcomings and things. And Teresa, they talk about Teresa not being able to yell because she's had a procedure. I think her appendix or something like that. I don't know. But she has a procedure. She had a procedure that is saying causing her to not be able to yell, or it could really cause an issue if she does that. So then they talk about Dolores's new boyfriend and all of that. So moving right into the conversation, Andy asks, "Who would the ladies be more afraid of in a dark alley?" And everyone says Dolores, and Teresa says, "Well, you've never seen me, to say that you're not scared of me. First of all, nobody is scared of your thick hairline ass. Nobody. You flip one table and think that you are the queen of the mob, girl. No, ain't nobody scared of you. You are all talk and nobody. That's it. You talk a lot of shit. You ain't gonna do nothing to nobody, okay? And you ain't even gonna flip a table if a person was on it. Get out of here. Nobody's scared of you, sis. I would definitely think twice to go toe to toe with Dolores, which, number one, I ain't scared of no damn body. Let's just make that clear. But I would think that Dolores would give me more go than than Teresa ever would. Okay, moving on. So then they discuss Jackie standing up for Jen, and Jen breaks in and says, "Don't you mean because she went through something similar?" Basically trying to say, they talked about how Jackie was kind of being there for Jennifer because Jennifer was having a tough time with everybody, with all the rumors or the cheating scandal coming out about her husband. So Jackie was basically in a state of, you know what, I understand how that feels with people putting stuff out in the public. Now, mind you, my shit wasn't, that ain't really happened to me. But, since it really did happen to you, I'm going to be there for you because it is still out in public and I can see how it can make you feel bad or whatever that is on TV. So I wouldn't want you to be in that same headspace that I was in with people lying on me on TV. But since your shit is real, I can't even imagine. So Jackie says to Jennifer, "Yeah, but my husband didn't cheat on me though. Yours really did cheat on you, sis. Let's not get that mixed up, okay? So don't try to chime in and try to be a little smart ass because I see you. I see what you're doing here. But let's be clear. Understand I'm a lawyer and I'm sensitive about my shit. So don't try to come up in here and try to play me." So I'm glad that Jackie pointed that out. Because Jennifer she was really with the shits this episode. Like, I don't know what Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde shit she was on in this episode, but I'm just like, girl, can you find your way out of Teresa's asshole? I'm just like, whoo. And she further proved it here. So they discussed Jennifer digging for information on Evan and to see if he actually cheated on Jackie. And Jennifer says Dolores. So then Jennifer starts to try to bring Dolores into it because she's like, yeah, and Dolores basically jumped ship because she's over here so busy trying to defend Margaret, that she wasn't on team Teresa and Jennifer. She realized through this whole situation that she wasn't really down with the get down of the trio of them being together because Dolores didn't agree with her going and digging for information on Evan. So, and Dolores says that she's like, wow. So they discussed Dolores telling Jennifer not to cry. So Jennifer goes into that, how she's like, I'm going to show emotion and I don't care what anybody says. And you kept telling me that I was being weak and I'm not weak and all this. And Dolores says, girl, what are you talking about? Like, we had a whole conversation about you being able to control your emotions or whatever. And you said that you don't want to cry. So when it looks like you're about to cry or you're going to get upset, you told me to tell you not to cry or whatever. And Jennifer basically does a whole 180 and says, I'm going to have emotions. I'm going to do what I want. And then Dolores is like, wow, you're lying and you're crazy. So Dolores says, I defended you when you weren't defendable. And Jennifer said, my friends don't talk about me ever. And Dolores says, I will never be her friend again. She's crazy. And Andy asked Teresa, has Dolores been a good friend to Jen? And Teresa doesn't really answer the question. She's like, well, I just want to say about, Jennifer. And she, Dolores was just trying to tell you to be strong. But, Jennifer is very sensitive. So Teresa, you didn't answer the question. Bet. All right. There we go. Moving on. So basically she defended Jennifer's antics yet again, because Jennifer is the only one on this stage that's licking her butt crack from front to back. Okay, moving on. Dolores says, so Jennifer keeps on talking about Dolores and calling her sensitive and her crying and all this, that, and the third, and Dolores this, Dolores that, about her damn crying. So moving on, Dolores was like, well, is your marriage good or not, sis? Like, you was on here going ham over your marriage and people finding out about it. Is your damn marriage good or not? You're crying and carrying on. Are you crying for it because your marriage is fucked up, or is it good? And Jennifer's like, yes, it is. And Dolores says, well, bitch, act like it. Because if you up here fucking crying and shit and your marriage is good, like, what's your fucking problem? Like, I'm not understanding. I'm confused. And I'm just as confused as Dolores, child, because this shit is crazy. So moving on from that, because I don't understand why we was going back and forth so long about her crying and carrying on. Because she's like, if she got feelings, she gonna show them. Blah, blah, blah. So moving on, they discussed Jackie saying Bill stuck his dick in someone, which I thought that this whole thing was stupid, because clearly Jackie was advocating for Jennifer by saying she felt bad for Jennifer because he shouldn't have never stuck his dick in somebody. So they talked about, Andy basically asked Dolores, now that she had better context, does she still agree? And Dolores was like, well, from what when I had heard it, it just felt like it was just an extra dagger, like it was a sting. Nobody wants to think about that. And I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? He did it. It happened. Like, it's not a sting. Everybody talked about it, and y'all knew that this man did it. So all she was basically saying is she felt bad for Jennifer and that he shouldn't have done it. So Jackie chimes in and says, I just find it very interesting that people have a problem with me saying somebody stuck their dick somewhere, but you talk about, you call people a see you next Tuesday, and you talk about how your vajayjay tastes like pineapples and all this stuff, but you're worrying about me saying something about somebody sticking their dick somewhere. And Jennifer's like, well, my kids are going to see this and all this, that, and the third. And she's like, okay, you think my kids won't see that y'all was on here trying to incriminate their father, and that you going and digging for information on their daddy that wasn't true, by the way. So I'm just like, y'all really want it with Jackie, and Jackie ain't going, she is not the one. Don't even try it. So then Andy asked, did she send Jennifer to dig? Did Teresa send Jennifer to dig up information on Evan? And Jennifer responds and says, she basically sticks up for Teresa and says, well, she didn't ask me to, but I just did it. And Jackie says, you know what? All right. You bitches want to go and dig. Now, if you had found something, what were you going to do with the information? And Jennifer going to lie and say, I was just going to tell you. I would have never brought it up on camera. Bitch, you lying. Because if you had found out some information about Jackie, you would have made sure that you held it until that camera came right down your throat, and you would have been singing like a damn canary, because that's why you wanted the information, so that you could put it out there on national TV. Why you fucking lying? Why you always lying? I don't understand. I'm done with Jennifer. Jennifer really, she really was acting. That's what I feel like. It felt like she was acting in this reunion. Like it was too much. She was too overwhelming and she did way too much. And I feel like she's really doing a lot to try to keep herself on this show. And it's not a good look. You're doing too much. So then they talk about Margaret and Louis, the Margaret and Louis rumors. And how Margaret handled the rumors. And Teresa says every time there was a group event, she felt like Margaret was the one that brought things out. And Andy says, well, we all knew about the rumors like last year. Like I even asked you about it at the reunion last year. But Teresa kept on maintaining, I mean, but yeah, but like, but Margaret this, Margaret that. Bitch, it was all over the internet. You dummy. You are so dumb. Like, Teresa is so dumb that I don't even know if brain surgery would help her stupidity. Like, what the fuck? What in the entire fuck is wrong with you? Like, seriously. She got to be the dumbest bitch in all of these franchises. She thinks that everybody is supposed to do whatever she wants them to do. She thinks that everybody is supposed to kiss her ass. She don't have to apologize to nobody. She don't have to be mindful of what she does to hurt other people's feelings. Everybody got to bow down to her or it's wrong. I cannot stand her. And I used to really like Teresa, but she's so dumb. You know how somebody's so dumb? You have a friend that just do so much. They just end up being so stupid. You don't even want to be around their ass no more. I would love to not even see her on this show anymore. And Louis is going to manipulate her mind so much that that's probably what's going to end up happening, her not being on the show, because she would go as far as to lose her job just to do whatever this man says. But let's get back into it, y'all, because Teresa, she grinds my damn gears. So they talk about the rumors and whatnot, and she keeps on trying to blame Margaret. And Andy says, we're going to get into this later. So then Andy discusses Teresa not wanting to get a prenup, and he urges her to get a prenup. Hell, Bethany urged her on via Twitter. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's saying she's not. Please take it from me as an example. Get a fucking prenup. Like Bethany, I think she just got divorced last year or something. That dragged on for years because she didn't have a prenup. And that man was dragging her through court. Hell, look at Kenya and her husband. You have all these examples of people that thought they were in love in the beginning and how money changes things. But you know what? Let her dumb ass do that. Go ahead and do that. And I bet you she'll be running back to Joe and Melissa, the same people that she keeps on dogging left and right on TV. Moving right along, they discuss how Teresa didn't even invite Dolores to her engagement party, which is extremely fucked up. Extremely fucked up. You've known Dolores longer than everybody on this show. And her dumb ass, her dog ass, gonna say she didn't invite Dolores because she only invited couples that they hang out with. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable. I'm your friend, and because I'm single, I'm not invited. Did they treat your dumb ass like that when you were single? Out here ready to hump everything that was moving because you were so horny? Yeah, you were like a dog in heat before you met Louis. Pressed to find a man. So what if they treated your stupid ass like that? I'm like, and Dolores rode for this dumb girl so hard, and this is how she treated her. So then they even talked about I'm just gonna move on with this because this just really pissed me off. So then they talked about how she only is having Louis' sisters in her wedding, and she's not having Melissa in her wedding. What? You don't even know these people like that for real, for real. Your brother and your sister-in-law has supported you through everything. You being in jail, they were there for your parents while you weren't able to be there. They were there for your daughters while your husband was struggling with them and being a single parent trying to take care of them. They've been there for you. when you got out of jail and you were suffering through your ex-husband being deported and all this stuff. It's always family this and family that when somebody is kissing your ass. But the minute that they don't do what you want them to do, because the bottom line is Teresa is mad because Melissa didn't dismiss Margaret. And she's mad that Margaret brought out, somebody was going to bring up the rumors regardless. It wouldn't even be a show if nobody brought up the stuff about Louis. A producer was going to have somebody do it. Margaret was just the person to bring it up. But how it was handled on the show is purely Teresa's fault. She could have deaded that shit within 2 episodes. But did she? No, because she's so busy trying to hide and make things look like it's perfect. So Melissa she gonna tell Melissa, well, and Melissa was hurt. I could see that Melissa was hurt. And then Teresa was like, well, we're just not even really that close. And Melissa was like, okay, well, you know what? Let's stop pretending. Let's stop pretending, because you keep on talking about family this and family that, but it only seems to work when it benefits you. So you know what? I'm done with that. Whatever. I'm happy for you. Whatever. And Teresa says, well, if you were getting married, you wouldn't have me in your wedding. Melissa said, well, you're wrong, because I would have you in my wedding. If me and Joe were getting married right now, you would be in my wedding. You actually were in my fucking wedding. So then Teresa says, well, I mean, I was pregnant. Like, you could have at least waited until after I had my baby. Bitch, you got the game fucked up. Who the fuck do you think you are? I'm going to plan my wedding around when you have your fucking baby? Are you shitting me? I know you fucking lying. When she has got to be the most dingleberry brained, selfish bitch ever. Are unfucking believable. I should have had my wedding after you have your baby. Fuck you, Teresa. That's what I would have said if I was Melissa. I'd have said, fuck you, and I don't give a fuck about anything else that has anything to do with you. And you know what? I'm not even coming to your lame-ass wedding, because y'all going to get divorced in a year or two anyway. And when he takes you for bad and dries your bank account out, don't you even think to come and sleep in my guest room. I'm counting the days on your ass, bitch. Please be on notice that I'm baking a cake on that ass. And I'm going to enjoy cutting every slice of your demise, because you really fucking tried me. And that's what I would do if I was Melissa. You would never. Shame on me if I continue to let you fool me in the public like this. She clearly doesn't give a fuck about Melissa and Joe. It's only when it's convenient for her. And it's very fucked up. It really is. And I felt so bad for Melissa in that moment, because this dumbass bitch here is always constantly playing that family card when it benefits her. And the reality is, she's just mad at Melissa because she's still friends with Margaret, and she wanted her to totally denounce her because Teresa don't like her. Big fucking whoop. I don't give a shit about who you don't like. You can kiss my ass. Because clearly you don't like me either. You said we not close. So you gonna have his whole family in your wedding. And then it come to find out she had Melissa and Joe at the damn friends table at her engagement party. And Margaret was like, well, damn, that's fucked up. And then Teresa was like, well, I didn't know. I didn't put them over there. And Margaret was like, so what did you do once you found out that when you saw them not sitting at the family table with you and sitting at the friends table? Did you immediately correct it? Like, did you have whoever organized this put them on notice and say, that's my brother and my sister-in-law, and those are my niece and nephews? They need to be sitting with us. Did you correct it? So instead of her answering the question and apologizing and saying, you know what, I got to take an L for that. I fucked up. I'm sorry. That's my bad. She starts calling Margaret out of her name and all this stuff, deflecting. I'm like, you got to be the dumbest. Moving on, y'all. So then they bring Joe out, and he says, basically Teresa is wrong. He agrees that all the stuff that Teresa's doing and all the stuff she's done, about the engagement party, saying that Melissa isn't going to be in the wedding and all this, then the third is wrong. And Teresa was like, well, Louis asked Joe to be in the wedding, but he's, acting like he doesn't want to do it because Melissa isn't in the wedding, but it's okay. Whatever. We're fine with, we'll be okay with that. Knowing she fucking lying. If he don't want to be in the wedding, she'll be pissed. But it's like, it's such a double standard with her. She can do whatever she wants to other people. Let somebody do that shit to her, it'll be a big ass problem. And Joe brought that up. He's like your friend over here. You let her call me a little bitch boy. She called me a crook and all this stuff. If I said that shit about Louis, you would have a problem. And she was like, no, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. No, yes, you would. Yes, you would, because you called Melissa and Joe and told them that you never going to speak to them again if they don't stand up for Louis. So what makes you think? What makes them think that if they said anything about Louis at all, said Louis had a hair, so much as had a hair out of place, that you wouldn't disown them for that? Girl, get the fuck out of here. And then even then, she brings up, well, we just aren't close. And, you guys, let's just talk about how you got on the show. Like, you came on here and you were friends with Caroline and Jacqueline. And, you guys went against me. First of all, you tough tight with Dolores, and she's been friends with them. She probably still friends with Caroline and them. So what the fuck are you talking about? You mad about Caroline and Jacqueline when it was convenient for you to be their friend. It was cool. But if they cool with them, it's a problem. That's why you got your cousin kicked off the show too, because they didn't agree with your ass all the damn time. Unfucking believable. The sooner that Joe and Melissa wake up from their sleeping Teresa potion, the better. I am so tired of them letting her bulldoze them and bully them into kissing her ass. I'm so sick of it. Like, it's very mentally draining for me. I couldn't even imagine how it is being her actual family member. But moving right along, of course, Jennifer chimes in and says all season, Teresa was disappointed that Melissa, she was like, can I just say something? All season, Melissa, you've chose Margaret over Teresa. And I think that really has hurt her. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, Jennifer. Nobody asked you shit, okay? You and your ponytail, shut the fuck up, okay? You and your frilly sleeves, sit your arms down and shut your lips. Don't nobody have time for you and your bullshit, okay? Looking like the damn cowardly lion sitting on this damn couch. Girl, bye. And that nose looks dumb. Your chin looks dumb. I'm glad you did take that out, but your nose looks very dumb. You look like Toucan Sam. Stop getting surgery done on your damn body because you look dumb. Anyway, moving on. And that's my opinion. Moving on. So Teresa says she feels like Melissa should have told Margaret she isn't going to talk to her if she doesn't stop talking about her and Louis. Why am I going to get rid of my friends because they telling the truth about you? Unfucking believable. How about why you ain't stopped talking to Jennifer when she called your brother a bitch boy and called him a crook, and when she kicked me out of her house? Why you ain't stopped talking to her then? So why do I always have to do stuff to have your back, but you never fucking have my back? So then Andy brings up a question. He says, the viewers actually, that brings up a good point. The viewers actually wonder, when are you ever going to have Melissa's back? Because they feel like you never have anybody's back, but you expect everybody else to have your back, talking to Teresa. And Teresa says, I'm pretty sure I've had Melissa's back. Yeah, go ahead and roll the tape. First of all, if you can't even think of it off the top of your head, then you know that it didn't fucking happen. And by the way, production didn't show anything. So you never had her back. You never do, by the way. And God don't like ugly. That's why them lights went out, because he knew that your ass was up there bullshit. Okay. So moving right along, the lights go out and then they come back on. And then they talk about Jennifer calling, they go back into Jennifer calling Joe crooked and a bitch boy, and how she doesn't defend Teresa doesn't defend her brother or whatever. Then they discuss how Gia was checking Joe about things, Joe Gorga. Like she always was checking Joe about stuff that he said about her father or whatever. But she never checks her dad about talking shit about her uncle or whatever. And Joe basically was just like, basically she's being disrespectful or whatever. Like he didn't really like the way that Teresa allows the kids to talk to him or whatever in any kind of way. And they were like, and Melissa says, well, why don't you talk to Gia and explain to her that it's not cool the way that she talks to her uncle or whatever. And Teresa, I'm not telling Gia anything, and we talk to Joe and we tell him that, but he's going to do whatever he wants to do. And I'm like, y'all are sitting up here condoning this behavior. And so they continue to go back and forth. And, Joe just gets so pissed off with the double standards that he's just like, you know what? Okay, so you're going to continue to let your friend disrespect me. You're going to continue to allow your daughter to disrespect me if she so feels like doing it. And then you want to down me and my wife and constantly trash us. You know what? I'm done with this. He said, I quit. He's like, you know what? It was a great 12 years. Thank you, bravo. It's really it's good, but peace out. I'm done. Because he is just tired of the bullshit. And Teresa basically like, well, Joe, you shouldn't be mad about her calling you a bitch boy. Like, like you kind of are. Like, you're basically like a housewife. What? Unfucking believable. And Joe was basically like, if I said any of this shit to Louis, you would have my head. Like the double standards are just insane. I have never seen anyone so dumb. Like Teresa really is very stupid. Like y'all, I ain't got nothing else to say because it took me so long to do this review because I'm now the level of positivity has heightened again. Anyway, y'all, thank you for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that thinks that Teresa is a dumbass too. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.